Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. The elephant in the room when talking about baby daddies. Yeah, y'all. You know what? I've purposely stayed out of that whole conversation about the two prominent YouTubers that are supposedly having a baby for one simple reason. Well, two reasons. One, I don't really care. I don't follow either one. And two, quite frankly, it really is their business. That's up to them. And I don't really care. I don't follow either one to care if they being hypocritical or what they represent. Right? Now, I admit I did check out a couple videos. I was just like, Ron trying to make his own money. I ain't worried about them. And I don't need to eat off of them. But of course, the way I look at stuff, I always look at the bigger picture. I always look at the bigger picture, right? And one of the criticisms of the male YouTuber is that he got all these kids and stuff. Well, something he's admitted, so that's not alleged. He got all these kids by multiple women, right? I'm like, okay, you got some women going in on him. Well, mainly men going in on him, right? Mainly men and stuff, and I'm just like, whatever, right? But there's an elephant in the room whenever we talk about these baby daddies. There's a big elephant in the room, right? That's amazing that nobody seems to address, not even men who go in on the issue, right? I mean, maybe a little, but for the most part, right, it's always about the man. Oh, yeah, that man's a Pookie or a Ray Ray. Right? Or, he got all these daddies, or he's ruining the community, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, here's the thing I got a question. And this not just based on this most recent incident, but y'all remember, I think, I did do a couple videos on something that was on Iyanla Van Zant's show a few years ago when she was talking. She did a show on that brother who had 34 kids by 18 women, and then she did a bigger show where she had dudes on there who had multiple kids. Not just him, but they multiple, right? And I remember one thing Iyanla did on that show. She jumped on the guys, right? She jumped on the guys. She was like, y'all broke these promises. Y'all made these promises to us, and y'all ain't do this and that, and But the elephant in the room is, I'm like, these dudes didn't rape these women. And except for the very first woman, that any of these dudes got pregnant and found out, whatever happened. These women knew this dude had multiple kids. And the elephant in the room is these women know this dude had kids. Often they are purposely getting with these men, having babies by these men. But the men get talked about. See, the biggest problem is responsibility and accountability. It takes two to make a baby, and these men aren't raping the women, right? And nobody's saying, well, okay, if a woman wants a man who's going to be a good father, who's going to be there for the kids, common sense says get someone who don't already have kids. Then he can focus on any children that he makes with you. That's what common sense say, but we all know common sense ain't common, right? And and it kills me. Nobody ever says that. They'll make even other dudes will make it like this dude who got 20 kids, 50 kids or something. They make him like the villain. And yeah, he could have wrapped it up and all of that. But I'm like, well, what was going on with the women? That one, they let them up in there raw. You ain't gonna tell me that many damn condoms are breaking. Or they're not on, on one of the 30 odd forms of birth control that women have available to them. Shit, you can get Plan B over the counter. So I'm like, why aren't we addressing the whole picture? Because if you want, and this was what I've said on other things, you can't just look at one part and say, oh, that's a bad guy and all of that. And, of course, we get this in the black community, even though I personally know some white females who've had babies out of wedlock. Anybody know where I live in Maryland and stuff, they know, oh, yeah, Rom. Yeah, that probably happened where you at, right? Outside of Baltimore and stuff, shoot. In fact, I've lost count of how many white girls had it. So it ain't even just a black thing. But even regardless of the race, and it's not even just a social class. And you can't just say, well, it's those lower class women. I've known so many women who are professionals making great money, right? Making great money. In fact, one shared a video with me just recently. I was like, that's ironic, right? Had these babies with some man they didn't marry. Now, everybody blame the man, say, oh, you got to take care, you got to step up. And I'm like, you didn't know. I mean, first of all, if a woman mess with a guy, most of the time, he going to let them know he got babies. In fact, they might even see him with a baby. I'm going to tell you what. If I really want to get like a lot of attention, I just take my sons out. I get more attention from women when I'm with my sons than I do when I'm just by myself. I know another dude like that. Every place he go, he got his daughter with him half the time. And women still be trying to holler at him. Like, women know. They'll know it. And then they'll just like, hey, women had to explain that. I don't know. Women had to explain that. I have some ideas. I'll keep it to myself for now. But the thing is, women acting like these guys are walking up to them, deciding to get them pregnant. Like, get them pregnant. It was like, yeah, he got me pregnant. Like, you didn't notice he was in you raw, dog? In fact, I had somebody on a recent video said something about these dudes wrapping up. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fair. They need to wrap up. I come and, the women complaining about it, but then there's another woman that's like, baby, take off the condom. And shoot, and some women be like, shoot, in fact, I had a friend, he followed this channel. He'll know, shout yourself out if you feel like it, brother. He told me he up in this woman raw, he about to pull out. She put the grip on him. Oh, and she was a professional. And see, we talking about the baby daddies, but the moms did not have a gun held to their head. And if we're going to address it, we need to ask ourselves, okay, well, why are these women choosing a particular man? Now, if you mess with a man, he got 20 kids. Look. And somebody said this in a video talking about that situation with the YouTubers. It costs a lot for some kids. I call my sons my pimps for a reason. I call them my pimps for a reason. I don't even live with them full time. All right? Only have them half the week. But I spend a lot of time with them and stuff. And I'm just like, and they don't even ask for a lot. But still, I'm like, wait a minute. So if I'm spending this much, and I'm making pretty good money, upper percentage as far as like the average person. And I'm like, wait a minute, how much of my money go to these kids? My pimps. I might have to put on my red bottoms and something, go out here like work that pole some more or something for their asses. Shit. And they don't ask for much, so think about some kid who really asking for some shit. And then you got 20 of them. So a woman knows she meet that guy. He already got 20 other kids. And they're going to have more. In fact, how many of these women, multiple baby mamas, they'll have a second child by them dude. But we ain't talking about that, right? Because it's a community thing. And see, you know what I hate? And this is for like the dudes who try to get mad at the baby daddies, man. I say, man, you better look at the whole picture. He ain't use a gun to the head. And I really refuse to believe that women who call themselves intelligent, got jobs, got education and stuff, really falling for whatever the dude is spitting. Because if one thing I found with dudes who got multiple kids, they tend to be honest. Believe it or not, they probably got the least amount of game. They got the least about. They probably say, yeah, I got to take care of my kids or do something. Shoot, they probably have pictures of the child or something like that. Please. Like, as an aside, for some of y'all fellas without, if y'all will hear some game for some of y'all fellas, don't get any women. Borrow your niece or nephew or stuff, they real young, and just hang out with them. Trust me. Trust me. So, that's the thing that has to be looked at. You look at these situations. I look at the whole picture. I don't even get mad at one. It's like, does it take two to tangle? And it's a community thing. And and when I say community, it's not even just the man and the woman and stuff. Sometimes the family supports that. How many women get pregnant by some dude who already got several other kids and she get a baby shower or something? Or the mother happy? Dads get a little bit ticked off if they in the picture. They do, because they like, hold up. And thankfully we got that. But yeah, that's the issue. That's a big ass elephant. I don't know how other people don't see it. So anyway, right? I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.